Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Endless Celts, the double pivot, our new Wednesday show, episode 3. I'm joined by Jed. How are you, buddy?
Fine, Steve. Fine, Paul.
Good man. And Franny, how about yourself? I mean, what happened Monday night? I don't think the viewers even know, but you glossed over it well and carried on like a champ.
I glossed over it well, Stephen, because I didn't notice until it came off when James had pointed it to me that I'd put the wrong video up. I put the video, then looked at my phone and totally missed it.
It's all right, mate. I just think it was you never noticed. Everybody else did.
Aye,
100%, but here, it's great to have you along. I mean, Valentine's Day, non-romantics, I mean, that's what the crack is of this one. But we'll get stuck in. I've got two screens up now, so if you see me looking to my left or right-hand side, I'm not being ignorant. I'm just trying to get stuff up on the screen. First of all, the predictor table that we have going on at the minute for the scores. McGinty is way out in front with 13 points. James is second. Ross third. Myself fourth. I know I predicted that one all draw with Tawdry. Fifth is Willie. Sixth is Jed. Seventh is Franny. Eighth is Gavin. And ninth is our very own Anthony Dunn. So pretty looking tight. People can claw that back in this week's predictions. We'll get on to them towards the end of the podcast. But before we get to that, I'm going to do quick fire questions. Now, I know you've had this done to you before. Who wants to volunteer for it tonight?
Go now.
Jed, yep. you're more enthusiastic. Franny's just like, well, I don't care. Anybody? Right, Jed. So, best night as a Celtic fan. Night now. What's your best night?
It was, in fact, Franny, I think your dad was maybe even at this event. It was the year we won the league in our centenary where we beat Dundee. And that night it was the Falkhouse supporters do. And it still went ahead. And Pat Bonner and Tommy Burns still came along that night, even though they won the league that day. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. So it was that day for me. And then followed by Staunton, 10 in a row when we beat St John's.
Oh, incredible. If you could travel back in time, what period would you go to?
1987. There you go. Yeah.
Reasoning?
I just turned 17, so I was learning to drive. I just thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Trying to get into pubs and stuff like that when you were underage. So yeah, then the 80s.
The 80s, no problem. Pick one player in your lifetime that embodies everything Celtic stands for.
Tommy Burns.
Can't really argue with that. What a legend of the game, brilliant manager as well. If you could afford any car, what would it be?
An Aston Martin.
Any particular make or model?
None of that money. I would just go and pick one out the showroom. I would pay them money.
Fair enough. Who is the best ever Celtic goalkeeper in your lifetime? Rob Douglas.
Rob Douglas.
I mean, I liked Paddy Bonner, but he probably wasn't the best. Probably one of the best keepers we've had actually was Craig Gordon.
Good keeper when he was a Celtic, 100%. Paul McFarlane, great to have you along, buddy. Jed, the new James Bond. Oh yes, looking fresh tonight.
Yeah. I would appreciate
Next one. What is your hidden talent?
I'm not a bad golfer.
I'm quite sure that like.
If you could choose, what manager would you like to see at Celtic?
Pep Guardiola.
Pep, yeah. And since it's Valentine's Day, finish the phrase, the way to my heart is...
Treat me kind.
Treat me kind. Love me hard. Is that like a saying? Treat me kind. Something like that, isn't it? I don't know. Sounded good. But look, we'll kick into it. And obviously the Double Pivot Show is a mixture of loads of topics, loosely Celtic based, can be football as well. So anyone in the comments who wants something to talk about, fire it in and we'll get stuck into it as well. But Franny, one interesting article I did see was about Ben Doak. Obviously he was at Celtic think it was maybe a year and a half ago now, and he left to go to Liverpool for £600,000. And he seems to be ripping up trees so far down at that Liverpool, and getting involved in the matchday squad, scoring for fun for the youth teams, and also featuring for the national team in their camps and stuff like that. So he's kind of, his trajectories went upwards. Now, according to Transfer Market, since he's left Celtic, his value has skyrocketed by, I think it's like 1,000%, and he's worth over £10 million. Now, then pretty much what the kind of emphasis on this is, should Celtic maybe look in-house now? Because Ben Doak, I know we can say maybe it's just one of one, to be honest, but we've let go of a lot of youth talents like Liam Morrison, Barry Hepburn, the Bayern Munich and the likes, and Leo Hjelde now, who plays regularly for Sunderland, I think it is, in the Championship. And these young guys could have potentially made the grade at Celtic, but again, at the time, they couldn't break into the squad for one reason or another. But Ben Doak's that example. We tried to give him time, and give him a debut in the Derby game. He left not so long after that. What do you think in regards to youngsters versus project players? Where should we be looking from now on?
I think in an ideal world, you would look in-house, and if a lot of fans, maybe myself, a wee bit included, in terms of how the board look at things, you would think they would maybe look more in-house, because it doesn't mean they need to spend money on projects if they're bringing guys through the youth. But I think one of the bigger issues, Stephen, is this Highland League, the Lowland League, is never it's cracked up to be. It's second the Reserve League, I think, has been massive. The Lowland League, and then I'm no one to slate Stephen McManus and Dan Nuddy, but Celtic's B team is sitting fucking 7 for 8 for something in that league.
Is that good enough?
What are they actually doing? I appreciate maybe they're getting told to play a certain way, so it's once you get to the first team, it's just to how you're playing, which makes sense. But I still think Celtic's B team, if it's at any decent level, shouldn't be struggling in that sort of level. But guys like Ben Doak, I mean, if you believe the rumours, I think he was offered 12 grand or something a week. So at 16-year-old, you really got to turn down that. I mean, Celtic aren't really paying that for some first team players, so they're not going to compete with that for a 16-year-old laddie. They might have offered to buy his mum and dad house, so he's one of them, again, 16-year-old, can set his mum and dad up for life and things like that. So it's hard. I would like to see us try and keep a hold of more youngsters and bring them through, but the money that seems to be an offer with other teams like your Liverpools, who can gamble on a Ben Doak and pay him like 12 grand a week, and it doesn't work out. It doesn't work out. It's no skin out of their teeth, so to speak. But I would, when it comes to sorts of youth, yes, I would like to promote it. You're obviously got to, your scouts are there for a reason. They will try and find your projects and stuff. But I think we need to look at getting back a reserve league, because this Lowland League, as much as I was all for it at the time because it was competitive football, it's been a massive failure, and the guys that have been in charge of that B team have been a massive failures too. Yeah,
I think the Lowland League probably got most of its exposure when Cy Ferry and Slaney were in that open goal Broomhill kind of project, and that kind of fell through really quickly. And said, Claude McNutt comes in. If Doak is worth 10 million, surely he should be in the Scotland squad. Strains of the doctor with a great point. It's about balance. I'd have around 26 first-team competitors supported by Champions League homegrown development players. And Franny is right in a way. If you look back in the 2000s before that, the Reserve League was competitive. First-team players could play in that division when they're obviously rehabilitation from injury. They were getting the youngsters were getting exposure to players like Bobo Baldi, Johan Mialbi, all that type of stuff. Where now it's all the rules. You can't do that no more. And even for a B team player coming up in the Celtic, if he features more than 5 games, he can't feature for the Lowland League side anymore. So again, it stifles them in that way. So it is a kind of a catch-22. But I think for us fans as well, in my opinion, we look at the players we signed for £1 to £2 million, the project players that we've talked about for so long, and you could go through a whole list of them, and we'll talk about them tonight. And then you look at Doak, you look at Hepburn, Hjelde, all these types of players. Why could we not stop signing them guys and give these guys a chance? Or is it the fact that if we did that, then again, you're questioning the ambition, you're questioning the spending by the board? So is it one of them ones, if a Liverpool comes calling, Ben Doak's just away anyway?
Well, yeah, I think he probably is. When you do have a team like Liverpool coming along, he's probably thinking that I might not get another opportunity. I mean, I think we all would like to see the homegrown players getting a chance. I mean, on Sunday, who came through, McGregor, Ralston, Welsh. I think they were three, wasn't it? They three. I don't think there's anyone else. But even now, we're hoping I'm personally hoping that Rocco Vata's going to sign a new contract. He's come through the system as well. We do. I mean, who was the last one we really brought through and we made was Kieran Tierney. And if you look across the road, Rangers seem to be having some decent players coming through their system. I just hope. I don't know if we took our eye off the ball with the Lowland League. The players there is money not getting invested in youth. I know. Well, they're saying. I mean, I'm going to contradict myself actually because the Barrafields, isn't it? They're hoping to redevelop that, and that'll be hope for the youths, etc., and for the women. But it's not as if we'll not get the money. We could put it in. But listen, we want money put in the first team. We want money put in the youth system. It's trying to get that balancing act, and we are not at this precise moment right now. We want the finished article.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're crying out for.
Yep.
I mean, first team ready players, Franny, and you mentioned it as well. The management team, the co-management of Darren O'Dea and Steve McManus. Again, you could kind of be cynical and ask yourself, what have they done to deserve that job? Could we not be outside of the box thinkers by, going to a foreign coach, someone who has a proven track record and developing young players? So do you think that might be an issue? And again, Sam Fran, I think this is a good point. Jed mentioned him, Rocco Fada. This whole thing's hyped up to beyond imagination right now. Even Ross is catched on the podcast. He's like, what's this guy even done to deserve this amount of hype around him? So you want him to sign a new deal, Jed? I'm not quite too sure. I think he's a spoiled, entitled wee prick, and he's just holding the club to ransom. In my opinion, he might be a fantastic player, but all this to and fro between a player who hasn't proved himself and a club who do want to keep him, by all looks of it, is a bit much for an 18-year-old lad to be saying he wants out the club, he wants to move in a different direction. No club's going to take a punt on him if he doesn't know what he has to offer. In my opinion, no Serie A, we're looking at him, some clubs in there, Franny, but again, this whole situation with him, it's a bit weird.
It is a bit weird, and I'm wondering if, I don't know where I stand with I don't know if I'm falling in the trap of, is it because we're desperate for a youth player to come through? He's obviously lighting it up a bit in the B team and stuff. And I believe he's doing really well at international level at the youth say that. So he'll be just looking at that because Tierney's been a wee while ago since we really brought somebody through. I appreciate McGregor and Forrest and things like that are there, but obviously I think maybe with that are we just desperate for somebody to come through the youth ranks to go look at this, it's working, there's a pathway and stuff. And maybe just some of that hype. I mean, he's a young laddie. He'll be all over the social medias and stuff, and he'll probably looking at that and going, well, they believe I'm a good player, and he'll probably start believing it in himself. And I believe young footballers these days they are technically mollycoddled to an extent and stuff, so they will be getting told they're the bee's knees, if you like, and stuff. So you'll start believing all that. So you will maybe start believing your own hype. He's probably got decent sponsorship deals, which maybe doesn't really help keeping them grounded and stuff and things like that. So it's maybe he is believing his own hype, but again, he has scored a lot of goals, so there maybe is a talent there to nurture. He just maybe needs a wee bit grounded or whatever. But going back to your sort of one about maybe going to a foreign coach at youth level, I'm
not pigeonholing it. I'm not pigeonholing it to a foreign coach. What I mean is a proven track record and improving talent.
I mean, I suppose in an ideal world, yes, but you tend to find at youth level, it usually goes to ex players. That's how they kind of get their foot in the door, if you like. You tend to see a lot of the teams giving ex players, but there's got to be accountability. Like I just go back to the Lowland League isn't a great standard. Like I'm not going to sit and pretend I watch it, but there's no way part-time footballers that are training twice a week, depending on weather, depending on work, if they could even turn up for training, in Celtic B team, who are essentially professionals, will train every day of the week, and then can't beat these teams. So he can't just be keeping guys on a job just because of who they are. I think he should be looking to try and improve that team. Celtic and Rangers should be winning that league, hands down. It's embarrassing that they're not competing in it.
As well, just along the same topic, what was a different team? Man United are looking to bring in the guy to look after the whole operational football division of Man United. This guy at Newcastle now, he came from Brighton, who set up St George's Park. Now, he went into all these clubs and brought in the youth coaches as well. And if you look at Brighton, I was listening to an interview with their chairman or chief executive a few weeks ago. They are already looking at this moment. They already have it in their plans. The managers that they're targeting in case De Zerbi goes. He says it'd be naive for us not to think this is the way they're thinking. They are looking months and months in advance. They are just constantly looking at players, constantly looking at managers. That's a fantastic model that they've got. Look at the players that they brought in for £3-4 million.
That's a great point.
Sold them on. So I think as a club, we need to look at our overall structure of our football structure, not just the first team. Yeah, the first team is the bread and butter. But in order to be more successful, we have to look after every other department as well. We have to look at the fitness, the trainers, the coaching. And we do want, in an ideal world, as Franny mentioned earlier, you want the B team to be playing the same system as what the first team play.
Yep.
Well, they're playing that now because they're shite. So, but that's what I'm saying. I look at Brighton and that. What a fantastic model they have got at the moment for players, for management, everything. I mean, they've been bringing in manager no one heard of. They took a punt as well when Graham Potter, he was doing Mellow in Scandinavia. He then went to Swansea. They brought him to Brighton. But he was already told this is the way they want to play. So he had to work to a structure that the club had already implemented. And it's proven to be successful.
I think as well, within them clubs, there's examples of what Celtic can follow. Future-proofing a club is fundamental to success, especially long-term, Franny, as well. And I remember before, I'm actually going to call you out in this one, we were speaking on, I think it might have been a double pivot show, and I was talking about examples of what Celtic could follow, and I said about Brentford, the Moneyball, and Brighton for what they done, and you came back to me and was like, yeah, but the money in the EPL, blah, 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 TV deals. These clubs started these projects well before they reached the promised land of the English Premier League in League One, League Two. And I remember I remember Mark Warburton done an interview. Yes, Mark Warburton, Magic Hat guy, talks about loafs and that. So I mean, but again, he done an interview of Open Goal, and he was saying that
Warburton's a type of bread, mate.
That's what I mean. Loaves, bread. Aye, well, you can't.
He talks about loaves, and it's like, no, Warburton's bread.
Oh, it's a loaf. But anyway, and he said that when the chairman came into the club, he had this mad idea that he'd never heard before about Moneyball, speculate to accumulate, recouping transfer fees, and you build yourselves way up the leagues. And that's how I think we should do it as a club. And Jed's right. If you're a Brighton, if you're actually any professional football outfit in the world with any ambition, you need to be future planning the way forward. You need to be looking at candidates further down the line. We seem to open that shelf, and it's Gordon Strachan, it's Neil Lennon, it's Brendan Rodgers. And yeah, we got lucky with Postecoglou, but I think that was really more of a last-ditch thing because we lost out in Eddie Howe. And I appreciate that might have went right down to the wire and we nearly got him, but X, Y, and Z stopped it. But you can't say that on one hand it's the money of the EPL, but then they started these projects long before. Why could Celtic not follow a similar path and get better in the Champions League, for example, and get money year on, guaranteed money year in, year out, and kind of push that boat and see what we can actually achieve?
Well, I'm not saying we shouldn't do that, Stephen. Like, I would say we get, like, obviously when Postecoglou came in, there seemed to be chatty, well, I say Eddie Howe, sorry, it will get a director of football. Then when Hingway came in, when Postecoglou came in, that just seemed to all get... see, they're missing the point, what I just said. You said he talks about loafs, and I said...
It's a joke about his name, because it's Mark Warburton.
Well, I've just totally misunderstood what you said. That's what I've not heard.
Right, okay.
And when Postecoglou came in, it seemed the whole director of football thing was kiboshed. And now I'm not got to say director of football's the way to go, but I think at a club of Celtic, if we want to progress, I think a director of football should come in but so like you maybe didn't have situations like when Postecoglou leaves, and then as much as I wanted Brendan Rodgers, and I'm not trying to advocate for getting Brendan Rodgers out the door, it's a different style of manager.
No one is. Yeah.
It's a different style of manager, and then you're asking the players to do something different. Whereas if you've got a director of football, his sole focus should be to go, well, like what they're doing at Brighton. Once De Zerbi goes, we know to continue this progression. We've got a model on how we want to play football. We're buying players to play that way, so we'll find a manager that'll play that way. Now that if we'd done that, obviously we probably wouldn't have failed on getting Brendan Rodgers again. But you might have been playing to suit some players. But I think we should, to try and progress for me, we do need to look at a director of football. And I agree we should speculate to accumulate Stephen, but it seems we've got a bit of board that didn't want to do that. I'm not.
No, I understand that. It's more of a hypothetical sense. We should be following like you said, a path to get successful in European football.
We should be following a path, and like want to spend money, or what, like everybody wants Celtic to do well, and it's just we've all got different ways and ideas of how we think we should do it. And at the end of the day, we're all sitting on a podcast telling these guys how they should run a football club and that. But
you're allowed the opinion on it. You're allowed the opinion on it.
Not a bad thing to copy other clubs.
No,
Barcelona, when they started to get successful, they followed the Ajax system.
Aye.
So they did. So
I know.
You look at what people are doing right and say, right, okay, let's try and implement that.
This is the type of comment that winds me up. Anthony Dunn, with the greatest of respect, success for Brighton is top 10 most of the time. They've access to far greater resources with less pressure to succeed. That's 100%. But my point is they started that model in the Championship. They started it in League One. They were building blocks towards the EPL. We're in a building block stage where we're talking about European football. Where can we build to be successful? Now, I've kind of skipped a bit here, but we're on the topic anyway. Franny, people are talking about Copenhagen. And to be fair, Anthony put it in the chat that they've actually qualified for the last 16. I think it was like twice they are free or something like that. Again, I think it's just kind of clinging on. Can we be like a Copenhagen next year? Can we show a bit of steel, show a bit of metal? But I know I'd read in just a wee bit. I'm not no expert in Norwegian football or Scandinavian football. Just how do we read it something? And it said they've been trying to build like this for again years and trying to make progress and inward steps into European football. The field the win the title in 2019, it was a big massive issue. They changed their whole model, and now ultimately they're in the knockout stages of the Champions League. So there is success somewhere to be found within the middle there. Like,
well, there is, but and then I think Copenhagen's quite a lazy argument now, and it's easy for folk to chuck out there. This is the first time they've qualified for the last qualified for the knockouts in how long? About 10, 12 years?
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, if that's the model we want to follow, then we would have qualified about 3 times less, I think.
But I think the issue is they only started this new model within the last 3 to 4 years.
Yes, so maybe bring Copenhagen up in 10 years' time and see if they're continuing this.
Yeah, and also as well, Stephen, Copenhagen got a bit of luck in the qualifying, and they're against a Man United at the time who were horrendous. They were conceding goals right, left, and centre. So they had all the things where the boxes were all getting ticked for them. You put them in another group, would they have got through? I doubt it. I doubt it.
And then it's to kind of piggyback off Jed there, to flip it. How much money did Man United spend in the summer compared to Copenhagen? And Copenhagen qualified. Now, I know I argue for Celtic to spend more money, Stephen, but forgot to bring up Copenhagen, you kind of try and balance that a wee bit.
Of course. But again,
teams that spent tons of money and they finished above them. So, but
again,
what way you want to look at it, I think the Copenhagen one, their record in Europe isn't focused basing it off this season's campaign, saying, "Oh, why can Celtic not be like that?" But I think if you look on record, I think we've qualified more times for the group stage proper than Copenhagen. They have got an ambitious board, but as I say, bring up Copenhagen in 10 years' time and see if they're progressing, see if they're constantly in the Champions League proper and getting out the group stages. Where they go after that, I appreciate the size of the club and finances will determine they'll probably never really they might get to the occasional quarter. Maybe you never know, a semi-final depending on the luck at the night. But if Copenhagen in the next sort of 10 years are constantly in the Champions League and getting out their group, then I think it's a different argument. But based off one campaign, nah, not for me.
Again, I'm totally with you on that one. I am. I just brought up the argument because I've seen the article about it and I thought it'd be quite interesting to speak about. I think that the Copenhagen thing is dead as well. We don't know what their recruitment's like. And if rumours are led to believe today, I don't know if anyone's seen this, Mark Lawwell, our head of recruitment, is apparently working his notice period. Multiple people on Twitter have said this and sources. Look, we have no sources. That wall might as well tell me that Mark Lawwell's going to leave. We're just going by what people are saying. The taxi man, we're just going by what people are saying. And again, it's kind of built up ahead of steam. Said nothing's about the club as of yet. But do you think that would be a positive step in the right direction? And maybe Rodgers has had a wee nudge in there and be like, he's not good enough. I've got a different plan going forward.
Well, I think it's quite fitting what we've been speaking about. Is this the club just looks at the whole structure of getting a director of football and all that in as well? Because let's be honest, the Lawwell's name now is mud within the eyes of the Celtic fans. Even though all the good that Peter Lawwell has done over the years for a PLC board, of course, as you know, the dividends, etc. But the fans don't look at that. We're looking for success. We're looking for progression in Europe. And we all believe the Lawwells are holding us back. And especially with, has it any coincidence that Peter Lawwell's come back on as chairman and we've went backwards? So for everybody, let's sweep the board with them, sweep the floor with the board, get fresh blood in. Let's be bring a business acumen into the board. Look at other clubs. Where are they? What is one club good at? What's another club good at? And try and take their ideas and mix it into our own. Because we need to get better. We have to get the background stuff sorted out first. So we do.
Yeah. 100%, because when that seeps in, it's there and it's going to stay there and it's a sort out. Maestro comes in, Franny. I'll throw the Mark Lawwell one at you and also mix it in with this one if you can. You mentioned 10 years' time in terms of mentioning Copenhagen. Where do you think Celtic, in your eyes, will be in 10 years' time? And also, do you think Mark Lawwell, apparently working his notice period, is a good move?
Well, to start with the Mark Lawwell one, you would hope it's a good move, but it all depends on who. It's one guy. Maybe that's the start of 3 or 4 guys going that we want out. Just a lot of it maybe back, like off the back of just wanting different voices in there. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying I want John Kennedy and Gavin Strachan out, but maybe we just need other guys in the training field with different voices. Maybe help Brendan Rodgers get his ideas across a wee bit better as well, getting his own guys in. And then even just looking at, like, if Mark Lawwell was leaving, it's Peter Lawwell still there. Who's making the decision to bring the new guy in? You would hope Rodgers has got a bit of say in that. Hopefully it isn't Lee Conquering, because he didn't exactly a great track record either, and that was Rodgers' guy. So you would hope when it comes, because it will be recruitment, that he has a say in it. But as in Gordon Strachan's lad, part of the recruitment. I hope there's not another Strachan kicking about that will end up being part of there as well. So you don't know. I think that's where it's hard to answer where I see Celtic in 10 years. If this Mark Lawwell leaving is a part of a sort of a major reshuffle where very senior figures leave, whether that be like the recruitment board guys that have been there for 20 years, 30 years and stuff, I think you should try and move them out just to get fresher ideas in and stuff. I think that's the only way you can be progressive if guys at board level are changing on, I say, a regular basis. I don't want guys in 2-year periods. It's not like managers and players, but I don't think guys at boardroom level should be kicking about for 20, 30 years plus. It's just, I don't see how you do progress with that. But so the answer would, I would hope in 10 years' time we are constantly in the Champions League and competing in that Champions League and getting out the group on a semi-regular basis. Again, that all depends on other leagues and how their finances go. But
Hopefully, in 10 years'
and
time,
competing,
Copenhagen will be winning the Champions League.
well, maybe, and then we'll have this argument about comparing Copenhagen to Celtic. But it's hard to say where Celtic will be in 10 years because you just don't know. If it's the current situation, I don't see us being any more than what we are now. If it's the status quo.
By the way, see, talk about like a new board, new owners coming in. You've got to mind our main shareholder is one of the richest guys out there. I think he's the fourth richest guy in Ireland. He's a billionaire.
I'm the richest. Keep it quiet.
But it's not as if he can put his own personal. I don't think he ever has done anyway, because of financial fair play as well. We need to be generating money. And now people have talked. I've seen people commenting on previous podcasts. Should we sell the naming rights to the stadium? That could bring in extra money as well. We need to look outside the box here. How to bring in more money? So we need to. That's what I'm saying. We need fresh blood, and you don't always go. Look, my job. I mean, I've been in sales for almost 30 years, but the day I stop learning is the day I die.
Yeah,
you're learning every day. You're learning off younger people than me. It's got ideas. God, I never thought of that. You have to adapt, and if you're not going to adapt, we're going to be left behind. So the board we need to get the board sorted out to move this club to the next level. And if we don't, in 10 years' time, we'll be having the same conversations.
Yeah. Like Maestro comes in. Do we need a director of football for continuation of the style of football? That when Anne's left, we should have got somebody fitted that style and attitude. I think Franny alluded to that. I think that's imperative for me. A director of football does need to be there. I mean, every major club in the world operates with the director of football, takes the pressure off the manager trying to manage all aspects of the club. And then again, if they leave, the eventuality they'll have someone to come in their place. And Jed, I agree on that. I agree with what you're saying, because like I do get the analogy about sales. That's the environment I work in, and you have to adapt and learn every situation, and you have to be able to cross all these negotiations of things. And I just think for me that the Celtic board is because stale. To be fair, and Mark Lawwell, if he's working his notice period, I think that's great, but it has to signal a bigger change at the club. And what I read today is apparently Peter has said, apparently nudged him and been like, put the pressure on him, said him to leave. I don't know if I necessarily believe that. I hope it's more to do with Rodgers and he has a plan going forward, because at this moment in time, and look, we're not being negative, the double pivot shows us a mixture of everything. We'll come on to positive points as well, don't worry about that. But it's just, as you said, having the same conversations. We've done this podcast 4 years now, and you could probably replay most podcasts, and we've talked about the board being negative in some aspects of it. We're not spending enough money. The squad's light. We're lacking quality. Something does need to change in that aspect of things going forward.
Yeah. But also as well, Stephen, I'll ask you a question. Now, Klopp is leaving Liverpool. Do you think Liverpool's just going to go and get a manager? Are they going to go and get a manager who plays the same style of football that the fans have got used to since Klopp's been there?
I think so,
I think the nailed on guy, Xabi Alonso, he suits that style.
Exactly. So this is what they'll be looking. This is what we have to identify for what we want to do. And we have to bring the people. We've got to get the jigsaw piece to fit. We've got to get that.
Yeah.
We can't go from one style of manager to the next. We can't do it. Because we can see it now. We're all moaning about Kyogo not getting the service because Brendan Rodgers plays a different style of play to Ange. And we're all getting frustrated about it. So we're going to have to get to a system, and that's what we're going to have to work to. It's no point if Brendan Rodgers goes at the end of the season and we bring in what's his name? David Moyes. What's that going to be?
Exactly. Lose a big continuation.
We really have to look at things, and this has to come from the board. We have to have leaders in there that's going to take us to the next level. Man United, with this new guy coming in, has went after the chief executive at Man City.
The Gallup.
for this guy. We now went after this guy at Newcastle, who's proven wherever he's been. So he has he has been speaking to people within the industry, who's the best at this, who's the best at that. Now, I know we cannot afford to go and get these guys. I know that. But there are other guys out there who are potentially could be even better. They just haven't been given a chance. They have been proving it at other teams, smaller teams, and they've been punching well above their weight. This is what they're looking at. And if you look when Ange came in, when you look at his CV, Ange's CV was fantastic. I know people, because we didn't know who he was, but he had a better CV than what Howie had. And we got the benefit of that. The fans got the benefit of that. The style of football. And then we said, we went and we were 90 minutes, we forgot about our troubles back home, our troubles at work, because we were getting entertained. This is where we need to be. We need to be. Football's about entertainment. We have to get that sorted out.
Yeah. Here's me now thinking about my troubles at work when I watch Celtic. Strange of the doctor. This is a great point. This kind of end on this one. Queen of the South just lost their director of football. The Ajax. That bothers me that a wee club is playing the game and we're still playing 90s rules in the boardroom. I think it's Queen's Park, but I do get the sentiment there. Strange love. They hired people from like Ajax and Anderlecht to come into their club, and I think they're ambitious over there. I think it's Willie Hockey or something is the majority shareholder, and he's quite rich. Apparently, he has links to Celtic. But again, we all know something needs to change. Celts retains, yeah. And he's a big part of Queen's Park and what they're doing. They're looking forward. We're standing still. Obviously, no comparison here, but it's kind of the appointments we're talking about in the board. You mentioned, Jed mentioned adapting, Franny. Mikey Johnson, Chocolate Ankles was back in action with West Brom. He scored in the 30 seconds. I think it was their fastest goal of the season against Cardiff, which Turnbull was playing in as well for Cardiff. I thought after the match, did you see his quotes? Is him speaking? What did you make of that? Saying he had to go out to the club. He scored 1 week and then he was dropped the next week. Nah, Mikey, you were just shite, mate. I think it's time to go.
It was ballsy. Like, it was. I don't know if he thought because he was doing in England, doing in West Brom, which isn't the nicest area of the world, that media doesn't make its way up this way. But to say like that comment where I scored in one game and then was dropped the next, it was like, why that one game? That was like the first time you'd scored in about four years at Celtic. Appreciate. Well, we'll cut it down to 3 because it was obviously away on loan for a season, but the guy. Every season it was, is this going to be his year? Is this going to be his year? It just feels like forever we've been saying he's the next best thing. And it is, in fairness, he is only 23, but he's been at Celtic for 8 seasons and not even managed to get 100 first team games yet. That just tells you everything you need to know about the guy. It's just, and it's no slanting him at the end of the day. He's clearly a good football player. It's just not the level to be at Celtic. Injuries obviously have played a part in that, and maybe just maybe the fact that he is a Celtic fan as well, and knowing that there's that many Celtic fans against him, maybe just mentally he couldn't cope with that. Desperate to prove them wrong, but just mentally couldn't cope with it, and then his body's kind of breaking down. I have touched before on that Lenny one. We all laughed at the time and stuff with Lenny telling him to fuck off. That's probably not helped the guy, in fairness. But I
see that every day. There's some time on Twitter I see that every day.
And I had a wee bit of sympathy for him, maybe not at the time, but and sort of for him reflection, because obviously he was going through horrible injuries and he had a chance. Just, we're all Celtic supporters. If we know we'd probably been injured, and if the manager asked you to go and we've got to say aye, and I think it ended up he was on for 2 minutes and we were down to 10 men because it was our last sub. So I understand Lennon's frustration. But and so I had a wee bit of sympathy for him as much as I wanted him at the club. But after the comments, I just feel like Neil Lennon just been like, fuck off.
Yeah, kind of trying to make a case for himself, Jed, and he was nowhere near. He shouldn't have been anywhere near the first team. And to be fair, from the outside looking in at West Brom and at the club in Portugal, Jed, he seems to perform better when that pressure, that spotlight isn't on him. He's not looking like he's not breaking down injuries. He's come on a few times for West Brom, and I think that was the first game he started and he scored in. So the way I look at this is it's a win-win. If he performs well, I just pray the Celtic are only asking for about £2, and he goes to West Brom, because I don't want him back involved with pre-season again and having this. Again, you said the same conversations next year because he scored a goal in pre-season. Can Mikey Johnson make the step up? He just can't. Just needs to be sold permanently in the summer.
Yeah. He needs, I mean, let's hope he does, and good luck. I hope he has a great career elsewhere. But I don't think he's Celtic class. But what is Celtic class? I don't think he's good enough. We have better wingers there just now.
Aye, just barely. Only joking.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the 14th. We'll take a wee break from the hard chat for a wee second, and just a wee bit of fun here. I've got a couple of players who are famous for wearing the number 14 jersey, and I just want you to speak about them briefly, or as how much as you want, really. Have a wee debate about them. I'll come to yourself, Franny, first. This guy here, a famous number 14, Thierry Henry, probably the best. I mean, one of the best anyway. The generation in the Premier League, people argue the best. He was an absolute standout for Arsenal, Champions League with Barcelona as well. Them famous comments about Henrik Larsson. There he is, giving high five to Arsene Wenger. What did you think about him and his time in English football? And also, even for me growing up, he was probably one of the guys I loved watching on TV, being like, wow, he was quick, strong, pacey, good score. And as it's Valentine's Day, the 14th, I just thought I would throw him up.
Oh, mate, like, arguably, oh my God, sorry, Ross County just missed a great chance, man.
I know, strange love. I know, but he's a number 14. All right, that does have to find somebody.
He's up there with one of potentially my favourite player ever in football. Which I hope nobody goes back to the World 11 because I never put him in it. But there was reasons behind that.
You can't say that no more.
I had to have R9 up front. Had to have R9 up front. But no, Henry for me, it was one of the main reasons I loved watching Arsenal. Why I like Arsenal as an English team and stuff. The guy is absolutely brilliant. Just that goal against Man United, so many goals. I think it was one against Liverpool where it was Liverpool or Leeds where it's like about 3 or 4 boys just try and wipe him out and stuff, and he's just gone all the way through. And there's one where against Spurs he picks it up in the middle of the park and beats about 3 or 4 guys and just curls one on his left foot for the edge of the box. He just scores so many good goals. There was one, I think the team was Watford as well. He scored a free kick. The referee said, no, it was too close. You need to go back 5 yards. So he went back 5 yards and just pinged it in the top corner again. Turns to the referee and went, is that okay? And you're like, the guy just had so much charisma. The famous adverts were in like Va Va Voom and stuff. He just oozes coolness. And another goal I can remember him scoring, fun enough, was against Celtic for Barcelona, where Caldwell played a defence splitting pass out for defence straight to Henry. And he picked it up just in the left and sort of the right-hand side of our box, just curled one in for the edge of the box right at the top corner. I think they beat us 3-1 that night, and you're just like, guy was brilliant, man. I love him, mate. Love him.
Do you ever see the clips of him and is it Kate Abdo, CBS Sports? Do you see them? They've got some chemistry between each other, like. But I think she's married.
They're Henry struggle cuddles.
I think they've got some biology as well.
What is it? But nah, he's fantastic. And Jed, yourself, mate, on Henry. I mean, people are in the comments here saying about his handball against Ireland and diving. Look, I didn't take any of that into account. I just seen the number, chucked them up on the screen. It's just talking about a world class footballer. We can all admit that. And the EPL anyway. For myself, watching matches a day and matches and stuff, he was just fantastic. And again, you always respect the comments about Henrik.
Yeah, I mean, he was a great player. In fact, if I remember right, when he came to Arsenal, he wasn't signed as a striker; he was signed as a winger. And they moved him up front. He was a phenomenal player for Arsenal. So he was.
I think we've started something in the comments now.
Well, he's allowed to say that Valentine's Day.
Of course he is. Send her a postcard or something, or a letter. I don't know what you have to do. I'll throw one to you. Jed, we spoke briefly in the studio before we come on. Johan Cruyff. You mentioned the Ajax model stuff. He was the guy I think I've been reading up and stuff. He revolutionised football in terms of the formation, tactics, the Cruyff turn, all that type of stuff. Absolutely legend of the game.
I was just about to say that. I think no matter what age any of us are, we've all seen the clips of the Cruyff turn. I mean, the defender just didn't know where it was. He was phenomenal, and then he implemented that style at Barcelona, and they have stuck to that model ever since. So they have a great player, and unfortunately no longer with us.
Yep, indeed. And then Franny, we talked about him briefly for the management job at Liverpool. Xavi Alonso, what a midfield player, number 14. I think he was in with Gerrard and I think Mascherano at some points as well. And his Bayer Leverkusen team are on a different planet this year in terms of what they're doing in the Bundesliga. His coaching is top notch, and Frimpong has been the main beneficiary of that. He looks fantastic. I mean, you could throw a couple of questions here. Obviously, when you go in the modern times and you speak about players, was he at times more important to Liverpool than maybe Stevie G was, and players of that kind of calibre?
Probably did they? I mean, Liverpool fans will probably look at it different, but I think maybe outside Liverpool, he maybe never got the recognition he deserved until he actually left. I mean, he ended up going to Real Madrid and was brilliant there, obviously playing. And obviously ended up going to, what do you call it? Oh, ended up nearly scored again last county.
Is that what you're watching?
I've got it on.
What's the score?
2-1 to Rangers.
Oh, okay.
And what was I going to say? Xavi Alonso, like, obviously went to Real Madrid and was brilliant there. Won it all with Spain as well. I think Xavi Alonso's a top player. Did he score one for the halfway line as well in the FA Cup or something?
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Xavi Alonso was a proper player, like, just so good on the ball, passing that, just controlled games. I wouldn't say he was more important to Liverpool than Steven Gerrard.
At points, maybe at points.
Nah,
I don't know. Do you know?
Nah, but I'm not going to. Xavi Alonso was a top player, mate.
He's one of the very few players that have carried that into management, hasn't he? You get the Frank Lampards of the world and all, you kind of feel, but he's been top quality at that Bayer Leverkusen. And Jed, finally, one of our own, number 14, Paul Lambert, European Cup winner, wore the same jersey there, came to us and you told me this is when he scored against Sevco in the 6-2 game.
Yes, that was the third goal after 15 minutes, that picture. Lambert was phenomenal. There's not many Scotsmen can say they're European Cup winners. He can. So yes, he was a great player for us. Fantastic player. And we got him for peanuts too. Absolute peanuts.
I think sometimes he goes under the radar because you never really hear people speak about him. It's always like Petrov, Lenny, all them types of players. Lambert kind of falls onto that a wee bit.
Lambert was a phenomenal player. You don't play for Borussia Dortmund if you want a good player. And you've got to mind, they signed him from Motherwell.
I know.
They seen something in him that other people couldn't see.
Maybe not Mark Lowell can do a job at Motherwell then. Yeah, Paul Lambert, Champions League winner, and quality of themselves as well.
Great. And remember his goal, the
New Year game as well.
The New Year game when there was a temporary stand. I think I spoke about this on a podcast before. I was actually in Tenerife then. I remember watching the game, and it was unbelievable. And if Martin Tyler is doing the commentary with Andy Gray, the co-commentator, and you can actually hear Gray just sinking into his chair and Martin Tyler just going mental about the goal. That was probably one of the best goals a Celtic players ever scored. I think because of what it meant in that season as well. And forever he will always have a place in the Celtic hearts for that.
Just going off that one quickly there, right? So our midfield at the minute, first choice, some would say, is Matt O'Reilly, Cal McGregor, Rio Hatate. Would you throw him in above any of them? When he was at Celtic? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, aye.
In the holding role.
And the holding role, aye.
Without a doubt.
But who are you taking out? Just quickly, who would you take out?
Who did you say? McGregor,
Hatate, O'Reilly. You had to take one out for Lambert. Who would it be?
It would need to be Bernardo.
No. I'm saying Calmac, Rio, and O'Reilly. So the first choice three that was before, you had to pick one player to come out for Lambert. Who would you take out for Lambert?
Hatate for me.
O'Reilly.
Oh, that's a big call. That's a big
The
call.
reason being, because when Hatate, if you take the two of them on their game, O'Reilly and Hatate, Hatate's a better player. That's just my.
I mean,
people.
it's
I think Hatate
Probably
is a really. I'm probably basing that
People
more
could
off
slate me
O'Reilly's
for
form
that,
this
but I
season.
think when he's on his game, he's phenomenal. You can't drop Callum McGregor.
No.
So it would need to be O'Reilly for me, because it would push Callum McGregor further up the back as well. It'll push Hatate up, and McGregor, Lambert will just sit in the holding role. And by the way, he gets great pass as well.
Oh, wizard of passing the ball. Franny's knackered. He's yawned about 15 times. I feel like I'm on the podcast with Anthony Dunn. But Franny, see what you said, you take out Hatate. Has Jed changed their mind on that one?
I'm probably taking Hatate out more. I mean, it's a wee bit unfair in Hatate, but it's on O'Reilly's form this season. Probably more the reason why I'm keeping O'Reilly in the team. That is absolutely a ludicrous plunge. Sorry, mate.
See, difference of opinions.
Plunges at the wind-up, I think.
Aye,
he's on the wing. That's what he's on. Monty saying Paul McStay, the top man I ever seen in a Celtic midfield.
Oh,
it's just a bit too young for me, mate.
Paul McStay.
I mean, obviously,
Monty,
I can remember.
Mind in the centenary year, we were 2-0 down against Hearts, and Paul McStay scored 2 goals to get a draw late on. Paul McStay single-handedly pulled us through that game. McStay was phenomenal.
I would love to have seen him more. Like you said, Franny, too young for me, but the stories you hear of him, he's a top quality player. Like Monty said, probably the best I've had in midfield. But Jed, another player from the current squad in the January transfer window, Gustav Lagerbielke, was in Italy ready to complete a loan move. Was it the lease? I think it was in Serie A.
Lecce.
Lecce. I'm again, main pronunciations. Forgive me. He was in the Italian media saying he wanted to go. Blah blah blah. 2 hours later, he's back on a plane to Celtic. Roger said he wanted him to stay, and he hasn't been seen since. Do you think that's again? It's a strange one. I mean, you look at the centre back situation. We've lost Vickers. That's fair enough, but he's playing about with Welsh and Scales and Naraki, and even with these injuries, Lagerbielke isn't getting in a matchday squad, which, I mean, if that's the case, why did they not let him go and get that kind of exposure and top flight football?
That baffles me as well. I don't know what the hell's happened there. He's obviously things is happening in the training ground that you or I can't see or not privy to, because I do think he wasn't. I do think he done okay for us. But he never got a proper run out. He never got loads of games. He did. He never had the chance to mature into that position, and he's just been flung back out. You know, not even in the bench, not even on the bench since he's came back. Since they never let the sale go through. So what's the point of keeping him? Let him go. Save some money in his wages.
That's what I don't understand. I think what was the name again?
Lecce.
The club. Lecce. I think the Lecce chairman actually came out and said the wages Lagerbielke was on, I think it's like 15 grand a week or something. Quite a hefty wage for a guy who hasn't played much, Franny. And like Jed said, it's a strange one. He comes on, he scores the Champions League. It's all like, can he make an impact? Can he stake a claim in the first team? And he just drops like a stone. He gets the chance to move away. Rodgers wants him back, and he's playing Rodgers is playing hide and seek with him. He's not even on the bus in the match day squads. It's crazy.
I mean,
and then who's the snitch? Lager's been treated badly by. I totally agree, badly by Celtic.
I suppose in one hand you can say that, but then if you want, you could flip it and go, well, it's a professional footballer. It's the risk you take it being a professional footballer. But I do understand what folk are saying with that, because, like you say, I think if you probably look at his games, his stats stack up against anybody's right now. Because I think in the league he played 5 or 6 games. And we had a clean sheet in every one of them. Never conceded. So, in that sense, obviously, he had that game away at Feyenoord where put it down to inexperience. Then he obviously was it against Feyenoord where he actually scored the winning goal and stuff. And then I don't think he's actually been seen since that game, to be fair. Maybe made a couple of benches or something, but I don't think he's been seen since then. I don't think Rodgers has ever really fancied him. Now, he did come on the back of being I think it was either Player of the Year, Defender of the Year in the league. So he's on the back of having a good season. He's already had a couple caps for Sweden.
Scored for Sweden.
So there must be a player of some level there. But I can only assume we have kept him, like stopped that move to let you go through because CCV's out for a period of time.
But Franny, why not have him on the bench then?
I know.
Yeah.
I totally get that because
that's what I thought. He wasn't allowed to go because CCV got injured. But
it's because even look at Narofsky or Narofsky, it's just like I'm not saying Disney fans in, but there's Stephen Welsh just coming straight back in as well. And Narofsky drop at the bench, so it's not that again. I said it on Monday. It's not that I dislike Stephen Welsh and then like that. I don't really think he's ever let us down. But to spend 4.5 reported on Narofsky and about 3.5 on Lagerbielke and one's. Well, neither are getting a proper run in the team. Lagerbielke is just miles out, and it's weird how they've treated. But Rodgers has done that a wee bit well. Like you look at Home will come in for a couple of games, drop to the bench, then he's out the picture.
But Home didn't have the chance to go, Fran. I think that's the most confusing.
I know.
Confusing aspect of it.
But Bernardo was in for Champions League games, out for the league, and then suddenly gets a wee run in the team, and then he's out again. But the Lagerbielke one is strange. As I'm on it, it's still 2-1.
What minute are we on?
79.
We've got Chris Kamara in the studio.
Strange of the doctor. I don't understand the lager thing. If it was me, I'd take my pay and shut everyone up by making myself a star performer in the side and then pick my next club. I don't know if that is self-idiot.
I mean, obviously, you should be professional, but the way he's treated, he could just come in and go, well, buggeries.
Exactly.
I'm just going to get myself through this game. And maybe no run for a wall for you, put yourself in that challenge or whatever. You might just go, I'll just do enough to get through the game.
Yeah, that's the way it looks. And do you think Rodgers fancies Naraki? Because like Franny said, you're dropping him. Welsh looked like he was injured. Granted, he's come back, and you don't know if he's full fitness, but he's straight back into the team over Naraki when he came on, actually performed quite well. And then Naraki to me hasn't put a foot wrong. I know the people blame on the Aberdeen goal, but if Rodgers was being that ruthless, then there's multiple players he could have dropped in that game, but he just chose Naraki. I don't think he fancies either of the two of them. And again, it goes back to Mark Lawwell and the recruitment drive, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but did Lawwell not say he agreed to the signings? Rodgers.
Rodgers. Yeah.
So, is there something happened on the training ground? Is there something personal happened? Has he had words with Rodgers, where Rodgers just wants Lagerbielke out the door? I don't know. I really don't know. But like Franny said, when he's played, they've never been beat in the league.
Mm-hmm.
In the league. And by the way, I did put on Monday night, I commented on Monday night, I've been one of Stephen Welsh's biggest critics. But hats off to him. The last 2 games he's played, he's been very good. So credit where it's due. You know, He played well. So well done. I hope that continues.
He's doing well. I mean, he's doing the job he's asked to do. And the rumours are Liam Scales is getting a new contract, which he definitely deserves. He's been one of the standout performers this year. And look, we'll do a bit of on this day here. And I mean, to be fair, everyone knows what happened on this day. I'll start with one that's kind of inconspicuous and people probably won't know. But again, Gav from the Jungle Gyms, when he joined us, brought this feature and I quite enjoyed it. I think it's just interesting. So in 1891, on the 14th of February, Celtic beat Ferd Lanark 4-0 and Celtic win the Glasgow Cup, the club's first major trophy. There you go. Our first major trophy in 1891. And Jed, everyone remembers this day, the administration day, the jelly and ice cream moment. I remember I was in the car and I got the text from Ryan and he sent it and I thought he was joking. And when it came through, it all kicked off and it was probably up there with just unbelievable moments in a life because you don't expect that thing to happen. I know the financial things were working on at that time, but can you remember were you at that moment that when the news filtered through that a club was dying?
Yeah, I was, believe it or not, I was on my way to Barry Island in Wales. One of my sisters used to live.
Gavin and Stacey?
Yeah, one of my sisters used to live in Wales, and we were down visiting. And my wife always wanted to go to Barry Island because of Gavin and Stacey. And I remember driving to it and coming on the radio, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Couldn't believe it. Of course, I laughed and smiled and almost crashed the car, but.
What's going on? Did we play a game that night? Did we play a game that night? Inverness?
Inverness. I think that was the
Aye. Yeah, because remember the fans going mad for it. And what about yourself? Where were you and all that kicked off, all the news filtered through?
I was at work, Stephen. I was at work, but it kicked off. But it was obviously there was the kind of rumours leading up to it and stuff, and then it was just hilarious. And just the weeks and weeks after it, I can remember the Derby game as well. After it, there was a coffin. It was when I had my season ticket. There was actually a cardboard cutting coffin that just kind of passed. So I sat just pretty much right at the Roy Stewards, obviously the old set sort of allocation. I think it was, well, my sister, me, Ross, then a couple other folk. Then it was the Roy Stewards, and so we were that close, and it just kept on getting passed back and forward, and it was just singing. Instead of obviously to the tune of the bounce, it was Liquidation. They were singing.
Liquidation.
That was one of the best.
No.
Honestly, it was great. Then obviously I was at the Kilmarnock game where we officially won the league and stuff like that. So what a time to be alive it was. The big house must stay open.
Monty just put that on. Strange of the Doctor. Strange of the Doctor. So good. Liquidation Day was up there with one of the best days of my Celtic supporting life. I think that's all of us. And Jed, did you have something to piggyback off on this day?
Yeah, just something different. I looked at who did we play on this day. So I went back to 2015. We played St John. We beat them 2-1. Now our team that day was Gordon, Adam Matthews, Van Dijk, Denier, Izagiri. Midfield was, I went 4-4, 4-4-1-1, okay? Stuart Armstrong, Beaton, Brown, Gary Mackay-Stevens, Stefan Johansson, and Griffiths. Now, what I want to ask you, and the viewers as well, out the team that started on Sunday against St Mirren, out the 2 11s, who would be picked? Now, I think the back four here picks itself because of the injuries that we have. So what I'd like to do is what our strongest back four would be. Now, at the moment, I think that would be Johnston, CCV, Scales, and Taylor. So I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going to ask you and ask everybody else, who would you rather have in goal, Gordon or Hart?
Craig Gordon. Easy.
Fuck. I'll have to go Craig Gordon. I've actually, I don't know, over the last couple of weeks, Joe Hart's probably one of the best performers in a Celtic shirt, so it's hard to...
Craig Gordon was he was really good, I thought.
Craig Gordon, fantastic while he was at us. Monty's in already saying Gordon. Yeah. So I would go Gordon, Jed. Yeah.
So, right, I'll take a note of this. Now, right back. So, like I say, we'll go with what our strongest would be. So, we're going to go with Alistair Johnson or Adam Matthews.
Oh, it's actually tough. I liked Matthews.
I'm going to go Alistair Johnson, and it might be a wee bit of recency bias in that. But I'll
go AJ for the exact same reason. Is
there any more coming up to see what other people?
Yep, Monty's in. Yeah. Johnson, Estepona boy, great for Gordon.
Johnson, myself. Now, the other position would be CCV or Virgil van Dijk.
I think
No, am I right in saying that did Denier play on the left or the right? I was trying to think.
Left.
I thought he played in the right, mate. I thought Van Dijk was in the left. I could just remember that goal against St Johnstone where Van Dijk just strolled through for the left. But I didn't care. I'm putting Van Dijk and CCV in. Denier was really, really good, and
that's how I was at, because I think that would thing with people. So I agree with you,
Right.
Franny. That's what I would have went personally.
Me
CCV
too.
and Van Dijk.
Aye.
That's what I'd go for.
Surely. It's
Yeah.
got to be sure.
Yeah.
Left back.
Estepona boy, Virgil van Dijk as well.
Right.
Mhm.
He's a Gary or Greg Taylor.
Oh, Emilio is a Gary, man.
Aye.
That's no.
Yeah.
I think Taylor's a good player, but he's a Gary, man. He was good.
Is it Gary?
He's a Gary.
Before he got his injury to his ankle, he was incredible.
Superb.
He was a changed man when he came back from injury, but he was incredible the kind of first stint. So Emilio was a Gary for me. Monty comes in as well as a Gary.
Right, and then I put Stuart Armstrong down the right, and against Maeda, who are we having?
Stuart Armstrong.
Stuart Armstrong. I love Stuart Armstrong.
Oh,
I love him.
I know I'm going to Stuart Armstrong because I just think football ability. I'm going to have to look at the football ability.
Annie, here, he had an engine for Annie. He had an engine. He could track back. Yeah.
Definitely did have an engine.
Right,
Has
so
to
we're
be-
going with
There's
that.
Armstrong.
Right.
Plons
Aye,
McNugget. Armstrong.
Beaton or O'Reilly.
O'Reilly. Easy. B. Tom was a good utility player. I'll give him that.
Half.
But
Right,
Good
and
Aye.
here's
good goalkeeper.
this is going to be a tough one. Brown or McGregor?
Jesus. I think I would go.
McGregor.
Well, I want to go McGregor, but I think for balance of the team, I think I need Scott Brown in there. Like Greg Taylor is, I've said it countless times, and I feel like I've said it countless times recently that Carl McGregor is a superstar, could go and play at any level. But I just think for balancing this team,
Bear
I
in
need to
mind,
go Brownie.
I went 4-4-1-1, so I've not went three in the middle. That's how
I know,
because I thought
I think for that, I need
I
to
was
put
trying
Scott
to
Brown
throw a curveball in. That's why I've done it.
I'll go
I think for
Calmac.
that reason,
I mean,
I need to go Scott Brown.
in the
Right,
comments,
is any of the viewers coming up? I'll take the majority.
Dio only said Brown, Celt, Idiot, McGregor, Plunge McNugget, Brown, Stephen Murdoch, Brown, Paul McFarlane, Brown, Estepona boy, Brown. The majority's going Scott Brown.
Brown, right,
Dicks.
okay. Gary Mackay-Stevens or Palmer?
I mean,
I go Mackay Stephen because at least he beats his man, gets to the byline. That's my opinion.
can I get my head out there?
No.
No, we can't. That's how I've deliberately done it to.
I'm going Palmer.
No. I think the majority is going Palmer, is it, Stephen? Is that what it's doing?
Paul well, there's two for Mackay Stephen, me and Paul, and then two in there's Steve Murdoch in GMS as well. You know what I mean? Estepona boy, none of them.
None of it, mate. But Estepona, we've got to pick one of them. So it's
Celt Idiot.
Stevens.
Can we just play 10 then?
Right.
Mackay Stephen, and it's for the simple reason, as I said, he attacks his man, albeit he wasn't the greatest winger in the world, but I just like that flair and going at a player constantly. That's why I pick him.
Okay, and the last two players, Johansson or Kyogo?
Kyogo.
Not even the competition.
Johansson was good, but I felt he was better under. Well, that would have been Tyler's team, eh?
And also, we'll finish Ada or Griffiths.
The Griffiths easy. Easy.
Griffiths.
Ada hasn't done anything yet.
Right, guys, so the team, and by the way, I meant to say, when we beat St Johnstone back then, Callum McGregor was on the bench. He didn't get brought on. Yeah, he got brought on. So here, the team is Gordon, Johnson, Van Dijk, CCV, Izagiri, Armstrong, O'Reilly, Brown, Gary Mackay, Stephen, Kyogo, and Griffiths.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Some a wee bit different, guys.
I know.
I seen Franny's face when you said Mackay Stephen. He went,
bastards.
That's decent. I tell you what, I actually enjoyed that wee bit there, Jed. It took us off, and I liked it. And kind of piggybacking off it, there was a survey out, Franny, and we can debate this a wee bit. Obviously, the top one doesn't debate itself, but 17,000 Scottish football. 17,000 Scottish football fans voted on the Scotland's biggest club. So we'll have a look at the table here. So obviously Celtic out on top, Sevco, Rangers, Newco are second, Aberdeen third, Hearts fourth, Hibs fifth, Dundee United sixth, Motherwell seventh, Dundee eighth, Kilmarnock ninth, and I think the bottom one there is St Johnstone. You can see the top of their badge. Just coming to yourself quickly, Franny. Are there any surprises in there? Any ones that are missing out you think you maybe should have been in?
Nah, the only thing I would probably say I would maybe push Dundee United a wee bit further up, arguably ahead of Hearts. I would say I don't know, but is that maybe just going off past histories for them? But nah, I don't think there's too much to argue with that, Stephen. Obviously, depending on what side you're on, you'll argue first and second till the cows come home, so to speak. But I think
you can maybe put Hearts above Aberdeen.
Could you maybe? Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to say no because when I was trying to put still 2-1, or unless that goal got chopped off, I just turned the telly off when it went in.
But I mean, if you look at it, let's see, 3-1.
I thought it was 3-1. Boy, did score.
Dundee for me. I mean, I don't know why they're in it. To be fair, Kilmarnock, St Johnstone barely fill out their stadiums. I mean, there's teams like Falkirk and that. I mean, who probably have a bigger attendance than in certain. I know it's nothing to do with attendance, but yeah, we're out on top. I think that's all that matters, there, Ted. And I mean, we spoke about the Champions League. The Champions League is back. I don't know the Champions League scores tonight, but last night anyway, Manchester City and Real Madrid were playing. They won their ties. City won 3-1, and I think Real Madrid won 1-0. And obviously, off the back of the conversation we had, who do you think, in your opinion, is favourites to go and lift the trophy?
Oh, Man City. I seen a bit of the game last night, and they're getting their big players back. And by the way, Bayern Munich's getting beat off Lazio.
Oh,
okay. Yes, home or away?
Yeah. Lazio are at home. Bayern Munich, again, I believe they were second favourites to win it. I cannot see. The only team I can maybe see beating Man City is Real Madrid.
Aye.
I can't see Arsenal doing it. And also Man City for me. They're getting their players back at the right time, and they've been there. They know how to do it now.
Oh, aye. We've got a manager. I mean, he's managed to win it with another team now as well.
The ties I'm looking at the minute, and Dion comes in there, Bayern have a red card. Friendly, PSG are beating Real Sociedad 2-0. Lazio are up 1-0 in Bayern Munich. There's a couple of ties we played next week in this knockout round. But going off the back of it, I mean, Man City, Haaland, you go for Kevin De Bruyne, all these types of players, and you even look at Real Madrid, still top class operators, know how to win the Champions League, and then you can throw in PSG, Lazio, Bayern Munich in that discussion. But for me, I have to agree with Jed. I think Man City are probably going to do it. I think Pep, he's programmed to do it. He's done it with them before, and it's a big monkey off his back in terms of getting that Champions League trophy of another club. Can you see any difference here? Can you see a Bayern Munich even coming in later on to make an impact, or anyone from the outside?
I mean, I think for me, Man City, I think are favourites. Arsenal, I don't think they will do it, but it just depends on that, because it would be that. I know it's a 2-leg game, but the one-off games might just be able to do something. But I would say the only real sort of problems that Man City's have, Real Madrid, as long as Jude Bellingham stays fit, they're in my shout. That guy's just absolutely a superstar now, absolute superstar. Obviously PSG, they're no brilliant, but with Mbappe there, when you've got Mbappe,
always
a chance. So I don't think anybody will fancy getting them. If Bayern Munich can then come through this tie, again, it's not a tie you would want to go to play Bayern Munich, but maybe they've just came under the curse of Harry Kane. It's unreal that they've won the league 12 years in the bounce, and he's went to them to try and win trophies, and they might no win a trophy for the first time.
Many points lie behind Leverkusen.
5, I think, mate.
5
points behind. But they've played each other twice, so they've not really I don't think they play each other again. So it's madness. So I think for me, Man City, just simply the fact that Kevin De Bruyne is coming back to form. Man City, for me, are what Man United were many years ago, where it got to sort of January, February time. Man City would just stay in the league title and they would motor on. Like, I think Man City went on did they not win sort of 20 games in the bounce last season? They've got that in them, and they'll just win games, just knock them out the park, just without
Franny,
blinking
what
an
do you
eye.
think about what do you think about the argument? And I seen it in our group chat earlier about not really downplaying Manchester City's success, but kind of saying it's bought, and yeah, it has been multiple millions of pounds have been pumped in by their owners and whoever owns them. But at the end of the day, Champions League, Premier League, EPL is a wash of money. Man United done it years ago. And I think City are just doing a bit of reaping of what they sow, isn't it? That they have success. United has success. I don't see no in between it. For me, yes, money can buy you more success. That's fair enough. But I mean, if you look at United's spending over the course of the last 10 or so years, it's over £1 billion. And I think City are maybe below that. So I don't really look at it as it's a lesser achievement if they win it. I've seen a lot of arguments saying that recently about that, like if they win the Champions League again.
Well, it's not a lesser, because I'm trying to think, did Man City really buy anybody of note in the summer? I don't really think they did. It didn't improve massively on the team. It'll still be a great achievement. Like, the Champions League's a wash of money. You need to spend big money to win that Champions League. Let's not be beat around the bush. Same with the Premier League, but the Premier League's got ridiculous money involved in it. But I think what, certainly for me as well, Man City's rise isn't organic like a Man United, like a Liverpool. Even an Arsenal to an extent, who came up with, went and got an unfancied manager, funny enough, for Asia, and Arsene Wenger, and then went on to win the league a couple of seasons after that. I appreciate Man United are still spending big, but they're spending big to try and get back in it. Probably still to try and get back to where they once were and stuff. Whereas Man City, I think it was a boy for Thailand that initially bought them, and then obviously they got bought over for the Qatari state and stuff, or is it Dubai state or Abu Dhabi? I'm not 100% sure what it is, but Sheikh Mansour.
All of them.
It's better that neck of the woods. Oil money anyway. Oil money, but in a way that, like, if you look at the community, I think they've done a lot of work within the community and stuff, and they have made a lot of improvements in the surrounding area and things like that. But then you look at when they brought Pep Guardiola in, he spent £150 million on, I think it was 2 left backs and a right back, then 30 million on a keeper, then went and spent another 30 million. It's Pep Guardiola. I'm not going to discredit any of his achievement, but he's a checkbook manager.
Oh, don't know about that. I don't think he bought.
Tell me he's no then.
I don't think he bought massive at Barcelona. I don't think. I mean, I get what you're saying.
But he inherited like guys like he bought Ibrahimovic for about 80 million.
It wasn't 80 million, Franny. It was nowhere near 80 million.
It was about 80 million plus Samuel Eto'o or something.
It wasn't 80 million because the transfer record wasn't 80 million at that time. But look, I get what you're saying, but he can't help who he inherited at Barcelona. I think a lot of it comes from it. But a lot of it comes from the fact as well, where I think Jed said it. Johan Cruyff, he revolutionised tactics of football, and Barcelona bought into this style, the Messiah Academy and all that. They're brought up with that. All these players are going to be quality even before they kick a ball. So if you inherit a quality squad, you're not going to sell players to make it shit. You're going to buy players to make it better. Do you know what I mean? So
he's a textbook manager.
What do you think, Jed, in that one? Do you think he's textbook? I mean,
but Franny, look at the players that came through the Barcelona youth system. That he took to the next level. Yeah, he did buy a few players as well, but the nucleus of that team came from the youth system.
I agree with that.
He is a great manager, and then the people are debating now. I mean, I know we're sidetracked talking about English football. Does
public managers there, not English football.
Does Klopp play better football than Pep Guardiola?
It's just what you fancy at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's two different styles. It's just what you prefer, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it is. Look, I prefer Pep's, but again,
I do. I like I said, the only team I can see beating them is Real Madrid. But if if Real Madrid's on their game and Man City's on the game, there's only one winner, and it's going to be Man City.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they've learned from mistakes from years ago against Man City. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
they did. Do you know what I mean? So, or against Real Madrid, sorry. The interesting one, obviously, Celtic aren't involved, but Copenhagen are. Well, what can you say? Maybe they'll
By
win
the
it.
way, we're still top of the league, so it's fine.
Yes, we're still top of the league.
Just for a wee
Like-
laugh, Twitter will be good tonight. That 45 shots and goal, 23 in target. 23 in target. They only played 6 minutes injury time in the first half.
And 11 in the
minutes
second.
Aye, it's all right, but nothing to worry about.
We're still top of the league. Liquidations, then we're still bossing it. Right. Just a quick reminder, we're going to do the predictions. This is going to be a staple of the podcast on Wednesday for the SPL games coming up in the weekend, just to go over the table again. Anthony Dunn is out with McGinty is out with 13 points, James 9, Ross 9, myself 9, Willie 7, Jed 6, Franny 4, Gavin 4, and Anthony Dunn, who I thought was top, is last on 2. A pretty shambolic performance. And my predictions for this weekend's games: Aberdeen 3, Hibs 1, Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 2, Ross County 1, Hearts 3, Motherwell 1, Livingston 1, St Mirren 1, St Johnstone 1, Rangers 4. Ross is Aberdeen 2, Hibs 0, Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 2, Ross County 0, Hearts 2, Motherwell 1, Livingston 1 each with St Mirren, St Johnstone 0, Rangers 1. He's predicting a tight game at McDermott Park. I just can't see it. Willie, Aberdeen 2, Hibs 1, Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 3, Ross County 1, Hearts 2, Motherwell 1, Livingston 0, St Mirren 1, and finally St Johnstone 1, Rangers 3. Anthony Dunn comes in here with his predictions: Aberdeen 3, Hibs 1, Celtic 4, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 1, Ross County 0, Hearts 2, Motherwell 1, Livingston 1, St Mirren 0, St Johnstone 1, Rangers 2. This feels like do you ever see Final Score at 5 o'clock and read out the scores in the video printer or whatever it's called? Branley comes in: Aberdeen 2, Hibs 0, Celtic 2, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 2, Ross County 1, Hearts 1, Motherwell 0, Livingston 0, St Mirren 1, and at McDermott Park he's predicted St Johnstone 0, Rangers 2. Jed has come in with Aberdeen 2,
That's
Hibs
Gavin.
1, Celtic. Oh, Gavin, Jesus, what have I done? Where's your one then? Oh, this is shambolic here.
Stephen's done a
Oh, I've done a you. I've done a you, Alan. That's mental. Right, Gavin. You can read it. Read yours in at the end. That's shambolic from myself. I'm going to play that intro video from 5 years ago. Gavin, Aberdeen 2, Hibs 1, Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 2, County 1, Hearts 2, Motherwell 1, Livingston 0, St Mirren 2, St Johnstone 0, Rangers 2. McGinty, Aberdeen 1, Hibs 1, Celtic 4, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 2, Ross County 2, Hearts 2, Motherwell 0, Livingston 2, St Mirren 3, St Johnstone 1, Rangers 4. And Jed, take it away with your one. What's your score predictions?
Aberdeen 2, Hibs 1, Celtic 3, Kilmarnock 0, Dundee 3, Ross County 0, Hearts 3, Motherwell 1, Livingston 1, St Mirren 2, and St Johnstone 1, Rangers 1.
Oh, I thought I had yours somewhere there. I don't know where it's went. That's mental.
You maybe got them mixed up with all the sexy Valentine's messages I've been sending you.
Well, mate, you sent me a picture. I'm not even going to say it. You sent me this morning. I can't. I'll get us took off. But yeah, that's the predictions. We're going to do the table every week, update it. And as I said there, McGinty's out on top with 13 points, which is good. Now, we're going to end on something a bit fun. Obviously, it's Valentine's Day. I was racking my brains going, I need to find a trivia quiz to do with football, Valentine's Day, and in and around this date, right? So we're just going to do quick fire. It's multiple choice questions, just a bit of fun. And some of the questions are quite long, so just bear with me, right? So, question 1. By the way, there's 5 questions. Whoever gets the most right wins. We know the score. Question 1. Jose Mourinho spoiled his rival Arsene Wenger's Valentine's Day in 2014 by describing him as what? A voyeur, he likes to watch people. A specialist in failure. Disconnected from... Whoa. Disconnected from reality. A little man and a fake. Franny?
A specialist in failure.
Yep. Did you know that one?
I didn't. I remember that getting said, but I wouldn't. I couldn't have told you who said it and to whom. So I wouldn't have got that one.
Yeah, Franny's near sleeping. Yeah, we all know. He keeps muting himself and yawning. You know what I mean? But sure, what can we do? Question number 2. Which Scotland manager's reign began on a snowy Valentine's night in 1973 with a 5-0 loss to England at Hampden Park? Tommy Docherty, Willie Ormond, Ali McLeod, or Jock Sting?
Willie Ormond.
Yep, Willie Ormond, yep, 100%. So that's one each. Question number 3. We just get on great together. I'm just madly in love with her. You couldn't have a row with my missus if you tried. She's so laid back. Which former Premier League manager had this to say about his wife? Alan Pardew, Alex Ferguson, Chris Coleman, or Harry Redknapp?
Harry Redknapp.
Harry Redknapp, yes.
I would have said Harry Redknapp as well. Yeah.
Right, let's see.
Sandra.
I remember that name, a celebrity. Right, we'll be on question 4 now, yeah? 2-1 to Franny. Which player has turned a romantic gesture for his girlfriend into a trademark celebration, reportedly earning him $3 million a year?
What?
Gareth Bale, Luis Suarez, Ozil, or Di Maria? Now, when they were playing, there's some of them retired, obviously, but when they were playing football,
Bale.
Who? Gareth Bale. 2 each. Yeah. Yeah, the heart is correct, by the way.
How are we going to work this one out? Is this going to Franny or going?
No, it's just first.
You have to wait till he gives them out, and he's no footage for it yet, I'll be honest with you.
Whoa, 2 each. It's the final question. Whoever gets it wins. Mate, right. I'm a scout analysis of trivia master. We can keep going. Right, question number 5. Decider between Jed and Franny. Everyone thinks he has the prettiest wife at home. One of Arsene Wenger's weirder analogies, but which rival manager was upset by it? Alex Ferguson, Jose Mourinho, Rafa Benitez, or Sam Allardyce?
Mourinho.
Oh, it's no.
Nope. Franny, it's over to you.
Oh, it's one of the two of them.
This is for you to win it.
I'm going to pump for Sam Allardyce.
Nope. It was Alex Ferguson.
Oh, well, I was thinking it was Benitez was the other one. I thought it was between Benitez and Sam Allardyce because I didn't get over the other two.
No, it was Fergie. So Wenger's comment was in response to Ferguson's claim that United were a better team in the 2002 title race or something. So that was the explanation for it. So question 6. Don't send me flowers when I'm dead. If you like me, send them while I'm alive. Which manager once said this? Brian Clough, Bob Paisley, Alex Ferguson, or Jose Mourinho?
Clough.
Brian Clough, surely.
Jed got there first. Brian Clough. 3-2 to Jed. There you go. You're going to do a Ross now and say it was you. It was Jed. Well done, mate.
Look,
that brings us to the end of the Double Pivot podcast. As I said, episode 3. How have you enjoyed it?
Yeah.
I love these Wednesday.
Yeah, all longer than I thought the night, boys. It was good.
It was good crack. Even, I mean, to be fair, Franny, you did enjoy it, but I thought you were going to fall asleep in some quarters. But you're still alive.
I know. We're all good.
Well, look, we'll be back Friday for a normal podcast, looking forward to the weekend's game. But until then, stay well, keep safe, and happy Administration Day, everybody.